In the political sphere, Ben Shapiro delves into the ongoing race for the GOP nomination with a particular focus on Donald Trump's campaign. After a significant win in Iowa, Trump's position as the front-runner is becoming increasingly apparent, and the latest polling data suggests he is leading in New Hampshire and South Carolina. Shapiro discusses the tight race in New Hampshire, referencing a poll by the American Research Group that indicates Trump's strong standing. The conversation turns to the endorsements Trump has received, notably from Vivek Ramaswamy, who recently dropped out of the race. Shapiro also touches on Nikki Haley's decision not to debate Ron DeSantis, interpreting it as a sign of confidence in her lead. Speculation arises about the Democrats' strategy to defeat Trump, with Shapiro questioning whether they intended for Republicans to nominate Trump, making him their opponent in the general election. Trump's legal cases are a point of concern, as Shapiro ponders the potential impact these challenges may have on his campaign. Upcoming trials and hearings related to Trump's legal issues are on the horizon, and their outcomes could be pivotal for his political future. The podcast also addresses the contentious issue of potential rigging in the 2020 election. Shapiro cites examples of informal rigging and discusses the role of the intelligence community and big tech in shaping election outcomes. The World Economic Forum's discussions on policing misinformation and the private sector's role in combating disinformation are highlighted, with a particular mention of John Kerry's involvement in the campaign and his advocacy for transitioning away from fossil fuels. Ben Shapiro brings up the Hatch Act, which restricts federal employees from participating in political campaigns. Despite these limitations, Shapiro expresses a desire to engage with the public on various issues. He also comments on the influence of the WF Davos crowd on the Biden campaign and the perceived collusion between government, big business, and big tech. Shapiro critically examines the Biden administration's foreign policy in the Middle East. He focuses on the situation in the Red Sea and the conflict between Israel and Hamas. Shapiro criticizes the administration's handling of attacks by Iranian proxies in countries such as Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Pakistan, questioning the effectiveness of the U.S. response and the lack of a coherent strategy to address the escalating tensions in the region. The podcast takes a somber turn as Shapiro shares the story of Agam Goldstein, a 17-year-old girl who witnessed the murder of her father and sister at the hands of Hamas. Goldstein's account of the abuse endured by hostages in Gaza is harrowing, and Shapiro criticizes the Biden administration for pressuring Israel to cease operations while hostages remain in captivity. Shapiro discusses the negotiations in Congress concerning national security spending and aid to Ukraine. He notes that President Biden has invited congressional leaders to the White House to discuss the matter. The importance of reaching a bipartisan agreement is emphasized, as well as the challenges of incorporating new border and immigration policy restrictions into the aid package. In summary, the podcast covers a wide array of topics, from the GOP nomination and Trump's legal issues to the potential for election rigging and the influence of powerful organizations and individuals. Additionally, Shapiro provides critical analysis of the Biden administration's foreign policy in the Middle East, the dire hostage situation in Gaza, and the complex negotiations for Ukrainian aid. Through these discussions, the podcast paints a comprehensive picture of the current political landscape.